But the hard part of a victory like this is once you've won both chambers of Congress, you have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court in control of the White House, now you have no one left to blame but to actually get the job done. And so we've preached it to the other side. We've told the people, young kids on the left at universities across the country, I've told them we don't believe in victimhood, we believe in victory. But now we're going to swallow a bit of our own medicine and say we believe the same thing for our side as well. Victory is our only option. And Monday morning when Donald Trump takes office, that is not the destination of our fight. That is the start line for a battle that continues not just for the next 4 years, but for generations to come. And I truly believe, now more than ever, not in some fake politician way, but in a true way, I believe it now, that our best days as a country are actually still ahead of us. That we are not a nation in decline anymore, but a nation in our ascent, and with your help, we're going to get there. Thank you, guys. God bless you and your families. May God bless our United States of America, and may our best days as a nation be ahead. A VP dinner because it was a special occasion to celebrate a very special man who's making his country great again, too. He was an inspiration to me. When I ran for president in this country at the age of 37, there was one guy who I looked to abroad who said, this guy gets it. He was DOGE before there was DOGE in America. He is the man who understands that freedom is the quality that man is endowed with, that no bureaucracy or no system will hold us back from realizing the maximum of our own God-given potential. And while that is the American way, he is now leading the way in Argentina to make it so as well. Give me an afuera welcome to the leader of Argentina, Javier Milei, our hero. Thank you.
Very big pleasure for me.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a topic that honestly is not enjoyable for me to talk about, but we have to talk about it because we've talked about Vivek Ramaswamy so much on this channel, and it just wouldn't be right not to cover this bombshell story about Vivek, which is that apparently he's no longer going to be a part of DOGE. Now, I know most of you guys are probably thinking, what happened? Why is he not going to be a part of DOGE? Well, I'm going to tell you guys what I think, because the media is trying to paint the narrative that Vivek basically got kicked out of DOGE. Now, I personally do not think that the mainstream liberal media's narrative is accurate for the right reasons, okay? I'm not saying that it is not accurate to say that Vivek probably got kicked out, but I think it's more complicated than that, okay? So I'm going to get into that, but first I want to read this ex-post from Vivek that basically confirms the rumors that the mainstream liberal media was putting out there that he was not going to be a part of DOGE. He says, quote, "It was my honor to help support the creation of DOGE. I'm confident that Elon and team will succeed in streamlining government. I'll have more to say very soon about my future plans in Ohio. Most importantly, we're all in to help President Trump make America great again." Yeah, so here's the deal. Vivek reportedly wants to run for governor of Ohio. Okay, now remember the last time we discussed the governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, we were talking about who he is going to appoint to replace J.D. Vance in the Senate, because J.D. Vance is the vice president now. And there were reports that Trump was pushing Vivek towards taking that Senate seat. So keep that in mind. Ultimately, Vivek did not get chosen. Another Republican got chosen. And now Vivek is rumored to be running for governor of Ohio because Mike DeWine is termed out. So just keep that in mind, okay, that Trump urged Vivek to try to get that Senate seat, okay? Because again, the narrative that is being created here from the mainstream liberal media is that Vivek got kicked out for reasons that I'm going to talk about. But first I want to play a clip from the mainstream liberal media and how they covered this story when it broke. Take a look.
Hey, Garrett, you have some information about Vivek Ramaswamy and his plans.
Yeah, Savannah, Vivek Ramaswamy has an interesting distinction here as someone who will be departing an administration and a post that didn't actually exist yet before he departs it. We have now reporting from two sources familiar with his plans that Vivek Ramaswamy, who was set to be the co-leader of DOGE, this new Department of Government Efficiency that the Trump administration is expected to set up in the coming hours, will in fact not be really taking on that role. He's instead going to run for governor of Ohio. That had been sort of widely rumored. We now have it confirmed that he's expected expected to make that announcement next week, and that it was impossible for him to do both things at the same time. We just saw Elon Musk in the rotunda. Musk is, of course, the other co-leader of DOGE, who, again, is a very complex and important figure in Trump world. He has no formal role. DOGE itself is something of an outside consultancy. It's not clear how much authority they will have. But nevertheless, Musk, with all of his entanglements with the federal government, particularly in the form of SpaceX, his rocket company, which has billions of dollars in contracts with the government, will now be in charge of finding, he says, $2 trillion in cuts to the federal budget. Now, in recent weeks, he's walked that number back, suggesting that a more realistic goal might be $1 trillion. But Musk and the team that they've put in place in some of these agencies will now be moving forward without the services of fellow entrepreneur and tech executive Vivek Ramaswamy, instead setting his sights on Governor of Ohio.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, so what I find to be fascinating about this exit from DOGE, from Vivek Ramaswamy, is the reports from the media in regards to why. Okay, so there's basically two reasons, according to the media. One, Elon Musk didn't necessarily like how much Vivek had been working on DOGE. Okay, according to the reports, and again, I'm not saying that these reports are true. Obviously, they are anonymous sources, so we really don't know. Okay, but again, I'm going to tell you guys what I think is really going on here. But Elon, again, was not satisfied with the amount of work that Vivek was putting in. Allegedly, Vivek didn't put in any work since the beginning of December into DOGE, okay, allegedly. And that is what was bothering Elon Musk, and that contributed to him leaving. And then they also go on to say that Vivek had pissed off some people in Trump world, okay, and some articles say that he had pissed off Trump or irritated Trump due to the H-1B visa debate, okay, which Trump basically came out in support of H-1B visas, okay, and Vivek, we all know, got a whole lot of backlash from the MAGA base due to his probably poorly worded message about the current work ethic and current culture of America that a lot of people didn't like. That, again, I really do think that this would be controversial if, Vivek just said something like, hey, as a culture, we value the Cardi B's and the OnlyFans models too much, and we don't value the scientists, the engineers, the mathematicians. If he would have said something kind of along those lines, right, I think that his message probably would have been interpreted correctly, right? But because his message was worded very poorly, I think it was misinterpreted, and it's just unfortunate for him that he has gotten a whole lot of backlash, and Elon Musk has gotten a whole lot of backlash as well too, okay? And I think that is the core reason for why this is happening, and I want to explain that and go in more detail in regards to what I think actually happened here, because these explanations from the media that there is some issue between Trump and Vivek just really doesn't make sense when you actually watch the inauguration, because Vivek was on stage with Trump as a member of his cabinet. Now, obviously, Vivek's decision to leave DOGE wasn't decided right after the inauguration, right? That's not what happened, right? This had already come out before the inauguration, and Trump bringing Vivek on stage as if he's a part of the cabinet, I think, to me, signals that he's good with Trump, or at least that's the signal that Trump is allowing to be put out there, that, hey, this guy is good with me, right? Like, I'm Gucci with him, okay? So that's why I'm like, I don't think Trump is really upset with Vivek, okay? I don't think that's what's going on here. You also have this video of Trump last night talking about Elon and Vivek still being a part of DOGE.
And he's a great guy, and we have him and Vivek and some great people working on a thing called costs. And he's got the credibility to do it, too. We're going to do things that are really amazing.
Yeah. Again, as you can see in this video of Trump's cabinet coming in, this is Vivek. Tulsi Gabbard is behind him. So again, it just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. If Trump is somehow upset with Vivek, or there's a problem and Trump forced Vivek out, or if Trump had something to do with it, I don't understand why Trump would allow Vivek to be a part of his cabinet during the inauguration ceremony and the swearing in. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Okay. Trump is not the type of guy to pretend like he likes somebody or that he's cool with somebody he's not cool with. This is Trump shaking hands with Vivek, doing a ceremony, right? So talking to Vivek, shaking hands with Vivek. Yeah. This is also Vivek posting this photo right here, a new dawn, him and Elon Musk. I'm not sure if this is at the inauguration, but again, this is him and Elon Musk. This is not a picture that I would post if Elon was the reason why you left. Now, who knows? Again, maybe Vivek is trying to save face. Maybe he's trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm in the circle, I'm cool, you know, blah, blah, blah. There are no problems, no issues, whatever, right? Maybe that's what's going on here, okay? I just don't know if there's a really strong beef between Elon Musk and Vivek. I don't know if that's actually what's going on. I'm not saying there can't be some tension because these are two high-performing individuals, right? At a level that most people just will never be able to achieve, okay? That's just the honest to God truth. And when you have these types of individuals, right, it is hard to share the spotlight. So there's no doubt that ego could be at play here, right? There could be an ego issue that could have led to Vivek leaving. I'm not saying it's not possible. I just don't think that's the main reason.
He's really one of the people who I just admire on planet Earth, having gotten to know him, is that he's made extraordinary sacrifices against his personal financial interest at a scale that we probably have never seen in the United States of America. Think about preserving the free speech policies on X that actually cost probably advertising dollars in the short term for many advertisers who fled the platform. Think about even his public endorsement of Donald Trump, which is something that many other CEOs who were in the same place were unwilling to publicly do. He is somebody who has taken extraordinary personal risk for a cause that he believes is bigger than himself, which in this case is the revival and the saving of our country. And so I respect the hell out of him. I have never been pushed more by somebody who I've worked with even in the short time that we've worked together. And I think he has that effect of people around him. And, you know, I just think that having gotten to know him over the last year, he is somebody who is every bit as extraordinary as you would imagine based on what he's accomplished.
I think the main reason has to do with the H-1B visa debate and conversation, right? I really believe that there is a grassroots base of people who don't like what Vivek said. They don't like what Elon Musk said. And they have been in President Trump's ear about the fact that, hey, we don't like Elon. We don't like Vivek. You need to distance yourself. You need to get rid of them. And I think that Vivek is the fall guy, right? I think that's actually what's going on here, right? I think Vivek is the fall guy. He's the guy that has to go in order to satisfy the people who are still upset, right, about something that he said a month ago, okay? So I think that's what's happening. And again, the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, that's the only explanation in my mind that would account for Vivek being a part of the cabinet, right? I mean, he's there walking in, right? Clearly, he's still in Trump's circle. Clearly, he's not somebody that's being forced out by Trump because Trump doesn't like him, right? Or that he's overstayed his welcome or whatever. Clearly, it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, you know, maybe he has to be the sacrificial lamb in order to calm down a lot of people who are really upset about the whole H-1B visa thing, right? In the sense that it ultimately was his choice in regards to whether or not he wanted to stay or go. And he just made a calculated decision that, you know what, this backlash, this internal backlash is probably not enough to justify me staying in this position when I can just go run for governor if that's what I want to do anyways and get out of the spotlight. I really do think that this was that type of calculated decision more than him being forced out in the sense that Trump says, you gotta go, or Elon Musk said, you gotta go. I don't think that's what happened. I think Vivek was kind of like, I'm gonna go because it'll probably just make it easier for my career and what I want to do in the end. And also it'll just make it easier on the Trump administration as well too, in order to satisfy some of these people who are upset about the H-1B thing. I think that's what's happening. And for Vivek's political career, honestly, this could be the best thing for him because it allows him to get a head start campaigning in Ohio to become governor, something that he ultimately wanted to do anyways. I mean, he really was eyeing the governorship, and I think DOGE was a stepping stone to that anyways. So he may find a better use of his time actually focusing on running for governor right now, early, while his name is very popular, and getting that grassroots support, building the organization that he's going to need in order to maximize his chances of winning that governor seat. And once he wins that governor seat, Vivek is going to be in a much better position to run for higher office, right? He's going to be in a much better position to become vice president or to potentially run for president. But I think him being out of the national spotlight for a while and just focusing on Ohio is going to be the key, right? I really do think it will help him to not be in the national spotlight. Therefore, he can just kind of hope that this backlash against what he said dies down. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe Vivek's career is over. You know, if people are this upset and they're just going to try to make sure that the dude doesn't have a political career, then who knows? Maybe they'll never let it go. Maybe they'll never let it go. And I personally think that's a mistake because I think Vivek is extremely smart. I think the H-1B visa issue, for as much as I understand why people want to pause legal immigration, something that I'm in favor of, right? But also at the same time, I think there's also room for compromise on the issue, okay? As long as Trump is doing what he needs to do when it comes to the illegal immigration issue, I think when it comes to legal immigration, hey, you know, I think that there's room for some agreement on something, right? I don't think it should be like this, okay? But, you know, hey, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe the mainstream liberal media is right. Maybe him and Elon weren't getting along. Vivek was lazy, right? Which, again, is not something that I get from Vivek. I mean, it would be very ironic for Vivek to be kicked out of DOGE because Elon Musk thinks he's not working enough or that Vivek is lazy after Vivek wrote that message criticizing Americans for being lazy. Yeah, the irony is crazy, right? If that's actually what happened. But I don't know. I have no idea whatsoever. I think we will know. We'll get an idea in regards to what happened based off of whether or not Trump endorses Vivek in this governor race, okay? Because there are going to be other Republicans running. If Trump ends up endorsing Vivek, okay, in which, again, rumors are that Trump wanted Vivek to take that senator seat, okay? If Trump ends up endorsing Vivek in the governor's race, then we know that, okay, everything's all good. And this may have been something that was done just simply because Trump needed to calm down some people who are probably in his ear about, you know, not liking Elon and Vivek and not liking what they said in the whole H-1B visa thing. I think that's likely what's going on here. Again, I don't know for sure. That's just my guess. That's the only theory that makes sense to me, right? I mean, just based off everything that I've seen today and what's happening. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.